to the block. I was raised on watchful eyes. Cold wind in the winter air, still I keep my head high. House is real on my tongue, like a name that don't break. Every scar in the city, still we move with no shake. Boots on the ground, hit a heavy step. Boots on the ground, we ain't done yet. Hands to the sky. When the pressure rise, we stand up tall, no fear in our eyes. House of Israel, House of Israel. We built this life from the dust. Boots on the ground, boots on the ground. Detroit heart, we don't give up. House of Israel, House of Israel. Say it loud, let the whole block know. Boots on the ground, boots on the ground. That's how we move, that's how we go. Faded lines on my work shirt, gravel on my soles. I've been carrying this vision through the heat and the cold. Every block got a testimony, every wound got a name. If the night try to fold us, we come back in the flame. Boots on the ground, hit a heavy step. Boots on the ground, we ain't done yet. Hands to the sky. When the pressure rise, we stand up tall, no fear in our eyes. House of Israel, House of Israel. We built this life from the dust. Boots on the ground, boots on the ground. Detroit heart, we don't give up. House of Israel, House of Israel. Say it loud, let the whole block know. Boots on the ground, boots on the ground. That's how we move, that's how we go. Let it roll, let it rise, through the rain, through the fight. If they try to bend our names, we still shine in the night. One sound, one line, one people, one fire. House of Israel, take it high, yeah. House of Israel, House of Israel. We built this life from the dust. Boots on the ground, boots on the ground. Detroit heart, we don't give up. House of Israel, House of Israel. Say it loud, let the whole block know. Boots on the ground, boots on the ground. That's how we move, that's how we go.
You can't see my eyes unless my head is there.
For your power. The 12 tribes, our hearts is pulsing. Babylon, you see, is falling. Shout out to my boy HOI, no lie, is coming. Yahweh, his power, he's showing. Israel, all hell's about to break loose. Like when Jake Stark guzzling that great goose. Brooklyn on my middle finger like papoose. Rope around the devil's neck like a red noose. Color gauge need to come to a damn truce. The Habashah make the evil spirit vamoose. Vampire styles run from the real truth. And jail tells the Habashah's about to get loose. Come get it. The 12 tribes, our hearts is pulsing. Babylon, you see, is falling. Yahweh, no lie, is coming. Yahweh, his power, he's showing. The Ruach Kadesh is glowing. Israel, the Lord's stay focused. The devil's like a sidewinder ready to attack. Keep the scriptures in your heart, cause you need that. Speaking magnet to the mic, there's a feedback. Proverbs 28:1, you can see that. The Ruach Kadesh is glowing. Israel, the Lord's stay focused. Leviticus 19 verse 27. Deuteronomy chapter 11 verse 7. Leviticus chapter 4 verse 27. Who drinks blood from my people will go to heaven. The 12 tribes, our hearts is pulsing. Babylon, you see, is is falling. Yahweh Shah, no lie, is coming. Yahweh, his power, he's showing. Devil trying to speak with a forked split tongue. Obadiah 1 and 3 tells you where they're from. The ancient sword is known as the modern day gun, which Esau used to kill my people on the run. State trooper rifles, killing just for fun. Now the Taliban got you cowards on the run. Wicked Bill Gates trying to block out the sun, but the Howard's are the light and the sun when he comes. War signals are sent like the internet. Only Israelites that study can perceive that. Israel, we gotta love one another. I pray all the heathens go to hell. The 12 tribes, our hearts is pulsing. Babylon, you see, is falling. Yahweh Shah, no lie, is coming. Yahweh, his power, he's showing. The Ruach Kadesh is glowing. Israel, the Lord's stay focused. The 12 tribes, our hearts is pulsing. Babylon, you see, is falling. Yahweh Shah, no lie.
Khan, all praises, all praises. Khan. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem, Mashiach, Malach, Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Yahweh of HOI Boston /NY&J. And we're here for another beautiful and mighty lesson of another Thursday night. And we want to jump right into it. We want to get into what's known tonight of the title is the laws given to Israel. You understand? So we want to jump into these beautiful laws and these beautiful commandments that were given to the children of Israel through the beginning of time all the way to the last days that we're in right now. And even when we get into the kingdom, these laws and these commandments are still going to attain, forever and ever, everlasting. And what's very important is that these laws and statutes and commandments that are in the Bible is only for the children of Israel, which are today walking on the earth are the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, and so-called Seminole Indian men, women, and children. Most beautiful people on the earth, man. And, a lot of our people are lost, when it comes down to the blessings of what is given to us by the Most High, the beautiful blessings of the laws and the commandments. And, what we have to take more heed to and take more understanding on is that, these laws and these commandments weren't given to all people that are on the earth. They were given to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. And what a lot of our people need to understand is that, a lot of our people are lost due to the pride of, the people of the earth that are ruling, that are, continuing to keep us away from knowing the true identity of who we are, the true identity of the God that we sit here and serve, the Messiah that we sit here and serve as well, the prophets who are in the Bible. And most importantly, man, that's what we need to take heed to. That's the very important thing. So these laws and statutes and commandments that were given to us by the Most High, is the sustained of what is, that it goes with the life of how we're supposed to be living under these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And this is what these classes are very important for, to edify our people, man, that are that are lost, that are lost sheep, which is, the lost sheep of Israel, and to our brothers and our sisters that are new in the truth. All praises to the Most High that has woken up the spirits on brothers and sisters that are new into the truth, that are new into, wanting to know more of their inheritance. You understand? And the Bible is something that's very, very important because to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, you understand the Bible is the inheritance of the children of Israel that contains the prophecy that was given, that is on us by the Most High. You understand? The whole remnant, is truly of our history, of archaeology. Everything is all of that's in the Bible of the children of Israel. You understand? Our people from the ancient time, our people that when it goes all the way back up to Adam, all the way down to the children of Israel through the lineage of who the Most High was dealing with and whatnot. And, these are what these classes are very important on. A lot of beautiful brothers touch on so many things, man. We have brothers that touch on the current event, brothers that touch on, the wickedness of the people that's in power. And then you have brothers that also, teach about the other nations and what their customs and everything are. And, is also brothers that sit here and even touch, most importantly, on the remnant of our people, the nation of our people, and why we're in the conditions that we are, why we're, going through things on the earth at a random scale on an everyday basis. You know, every time you turn around and look, man, a beautiful brother, man, is being lynched, beautiful sister is being lynched or being kidnapped, brother is getting shot down by police. The brothers and sisters are getting deported, not even back to their own country where they come from, their own, place where they come from, but they're getting deported to other places they don't know nothing about. You understand? And this is going on a massive scale. We have a system that is, leading our children into destruction in the ways
Yeah.
of their wickedness on the earth today.
So what?
And is put in the
Time
ways
to
where
biz up.
there's nothing that we could do about it. You understand? And the reason why we're in this condition the way we are is because we do not go back to the Most High. We don't, we keep disobeying the Most High. We're not following the laws. We're not following commandments. It's the same just as well as, when we were children, how your parents, gave you rules and regulations, that were given to you for a reason. You understand, to help give you responsibility, to help give you understanding what's right and what's wrong. And, when you will go off on things, man, your parents will punish you. Parents would take things away from you that, they give to you that you adore and you like to have. Your possessions get taken away from you. It even comes down to a point where, you have to get your behind with. All in favors of just getting yourself right. You understand? And having the respect and courtesy for your parents. And that's the same way that it is with the Most High. You understand? We, of his children, we love to act up. And the Lord is doing the same thing. The Most High is doing the same thing with us as well. He's punishing us. He's taking away our possessions. You understand? And he's also at the point where he has to whip our behinds, man. And how is he whipping our behinds, man? By his judgments, using the other nations as a whipping tool, utensil, towards the children of Israel. How you got beat with the belt back in the days, how you got your behind whipped with, a lot of brothers and sisters, they experienced the switch. They experienced the extension cord and the belt, and any little things, the slipper, the broomstick, you name it, our people have got it. And the Lord is using, the Most High is using these nations as that same whipping God, that same whipping utensil that parents used to sit up here and do to their children, not to hurt them on purposely, not to hurt them in general, but to get them right and get them in order. So the Lord, the Most High, is doing the same thing with us. You understand? He has to whip our behinds. He has to sit up here and take possessions away from us. He has to put us on punishment. How you would tell your kid to stand in the corner, you understand? And when we was young, we didn't want to stand in that corner. We didn't want to stand in that corner for nothing. So the Lord, the Most High, is doing the same thing with us right now. He's having us on a timeout. Lord, the Most High has us in the corner right now. And until we start getting it right, things will start working out better. The Lord, the Most High, will direct your paths for you. So, this is a beautiful time, Israel, not only to know that you're an Israelite, but to know that everything that attains in the Bible is all for you, is all given for you. Everything, that is spoken about in the Bible from generations upon generations upon generations, that is only dealing with our people. So, the laws and the commandments are very, very important. When brothers are out here on the highways and byways, and we give brothers and sisters attention, we ask our brothers and sisters, what are your nationality? What is your father's nationality? And once we know what that brother and sister's nationality is, what their father's nationality is, the next step for us is now doing what? Putting into action to now show them the laws and the commandments and the statutes that are given to us, and how we need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and come back that's gonna progress us into having a better lifestyle, having a better condition and understanding and loving and compassion towards our people. You understand? We're not doing that today with each other. And that's under us breaking the laws as well. You understand? So, I want to jump into it first. Mighty King Baba Kushal, can you give me Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8? We're going to start with that right here before we jump down into these laws, statutes, and commandments, because I just want to bring out the contents here, that's based on of what this precept is talking about. So you can bring that out for me, Mighty King Baba Kushal.
Khan, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
So not for nothing, the Most High divided the nations their inheritance. You understand? And, to the viewers that are new, that are, that's going to be looking at the video and everything, the inheritance of what the Most High gave to all nations, there's 18 nations of people who are on the earth today. And every nation has their own inheritance. What is the inheritance that the Lord blessed them with? The inheritance is actually the records, the contract, and the blueprint that contains to that nation's inheritance, which attains to their nationality, their true nationality, their true language, their true homeland, or where they come from. You understand? Laws and traditions that they are accustomed to, and most importantly, who their God is. Not every nation on the earth is serving the same God that's in the Bible. You understand? The Lord said there will be many gods that are on the earth today. Many false gods. That is the reason why our people are lost and drowned in Christianity and the Baptist Church, Jehovah's Witness. You understand? Our people that follow the 5% or 3% of religion, that follow the Mormons, the Seventh-day Adventists. You understand? The Islam, the Trinity, Egyptology. The list goes on and on. You understand? But the original inheritance for us is all attained in the Bible, which gives us and shows us our true nationality. That shows us our true language. that shows us our true traditions and laws that we sit up here and we're supposed to be accustomed to. You understand? Even the true God who we're supposed to be serving. And all these other, religious, accessories that are on the platform of religion is not for us, is not given for us. You understand? And this is why we're all over the place. This is why we're destroyed now for a lack of knowledge. This is why we're lost today in the world of calling ourselves African American, saying that we're Black, saying that we're Puerto Rican, calling ourselves Guatemalans and Jamaicans and Trinidadians and, El Salvadorians, Hondurans, Belizeans. You understand? Excuse me, you understand, Brazilians, Argentinians, Chiles, the list goes on and on. You understand? But the true identity of our people are truly Israelites that come out of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, that come from the 12 tribes of the sons of Jacob, you understand, of a descendants group of that same nation that comes from the tribe of Judah, that comes from the tribe of Benjamin, of Levi, that comes from the tribe of Ephraim, Manasseh, that comes from the tribe of Simeon, that comes from the tribe of Reuben and Gad, that comes from the tribe of Asher and Naphtali, Zebulon and Issachar. These are the original identity that the Lord gave us. You won't find African American. You won't find Puerto Rican and Dominican and Haitians in the Bible. You understand? The same way that we were given a man-given name, you understand, before that, us having a man-given name that attains through our oppression, that attains through the slavery of what we're still in today. You understand? Before that, we had an original name, a biblical name that was given from the Most High. And that's what these classes and everything are important on. You understand? To give you the edification that goes all the way back to the original root, and that is the Bible, which is the blueprint, the record, and the contract of the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. So the inheritance that the Lord gave, you understand, of all the nations, including our nations, are all totally different. We are told on the earth today that we're all one. We all bleed the same. We're all the human race and whatnot. But the original human beings that are on the earth today is really speaking about the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. So these are the customs that, we come out on the highways and byways to sit up here and edify to our people today, showing our people their history, showing our people, their true inheritance of what they are, that is not connected to the nationality that they think is on them today, is them, and it's truly not. When you go into the Bible, you see the actual real names of the children of Israel. You understand? So it's very important. And like I said, the laws are very important, man, because that gives us better of a lifestyle of how we're supposed to live, because we're not living in a righteous lifestyle. We're not living in a righteous form. You understand? We're going with the ways of the world. Hard for us to leave out of the ways of the world, for most of our people, for starters. But to brothers and sisters that are woken up, man, it's a beautiful, I want to give a beautiful shout out to brothers and sisters, all praise to the Most High, man, whose spirit has been lifted up to attain and come back to these laws and commandments, that has these laws and these commandments in their household, getting all their family, getting the family of that household in order. You understand? Because that also contains order as well through these laws, statutes, and commandments. And the more that our people are coming to these commandments, the better understanding that they get, the better directions, man, the better path that the Lord would lead them into. And it's really us being in these laws and commandments to get us prepared. Get us prepared not only for the beautiful lifestyle that we're supposed to be living accustomed as a nation, but also getting prepared for when the destruction of the second coming of our big brother Hamashiach Malaki Habashai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is going to come and rain terror all over this earth. You understand? So when everybody's going crazy in that last day, hey man, you that continue to endure to the end for the Most High, you're going to be protected in these days. You understand? You're going to be protected in that day. You understand? So let's get into it. Let's get into these beautiful laws and commandments because it's very important for the children of Israel. Let's start off, Cain, with Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
Con. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So not for nothing, man, us breaking these laws and the commandments, you understand, the Most High said he will put curses on our people, and those curses are going to overtake our people, man. And as I was speaking earlier, man, look at the destruction that goes on. You understand? The Lord said, if you will not hearken into the voice of the Lord thy God, man, to observe and do these commandments. Let's see what these commandments that the Lord is sitting up here talking about. Let's go to the book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Because these laws and commandments are very important. See, we've been told and we've been taught that there's only 10 commandments in the Bible. And 2/3 of our people, a lot of our people think that there's only 10 commandments. You understand? You have some of our people, you have a good number of our people who really feel and think that there's only 2 commandments. You understand? We have a lot of our people that feel and think that there's only 10 commandments. But altogether, there are 613 laws, statutes, and commandments that are in the Bible. And they're split into different categories. They're split into moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, sacrificial laws. You understand? And we're gonna jump. I want to touch on these laws and these commandments. Of giving the milk before actually giving the food. You understand? We want to give I want to give the basics of the laws and commandments, that gives our people the understanding and whatnot, and look furthermore of wanting to know more and more about these laws and these commandments. You understand? And when we attain the laws and commandments, even when we bring it out to our people in the highways and byways on the streets, we have to maneuver you like a newborn baby. You understand? We got to give you the milk first before actually giving you the food. Because if we just give you the food and not the milk, it's like a newborn baby. When a newborn baby comes out the womb of their mom, what is the main food process that they sit up here and they attach to? Their mother's bosom. That's where their food starts from.
I'm big.
You understand? So we have to break you in that same category. We have to break it down for you that same way. You understand? So a lot of our people that are getting edified is like that newborn baby. You're being reborn again. You're not going directly back into the womb of your moms and whatnot, but you're actually now being reborn of now getting understanding to what the Bible is talking about, that a lot of our people are not getting edified, getting educated on, getting led the right way. A lot of our people, man, through these churches and everything, man, they are getting misled and know nothing about laws. They know nothing about anything. They just think of going to church and they stand inside a building and, a little few, some little tunes and music plays and, say good words to you to just make you feel good. But no, it's a lot more to that. It's a lot more to that. So, let's get to these laws and these beautiful commandments. You could bring that out for me, Cain Bible, sure.
Con, the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
So not for nothing, man, that is a commandment right there. This is one of the commandments, you understand, that we are supposed to be attaining to. You understand? The people of your nations, brothers of so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, You understand? You're not supposed to hate on your brother, man. You're not supposed to hate on your brother. You're not supposed to, you know, have any type of hatred on your brother, man, or, you know, suffering sin upon your brother. And what the suffering sin upon is, you know, there's never, you know, brothers that, you know, have a dialogue through gang violence, through drug violence. You understand? Our people don't sit down, brothers don't sit down and talk things out. You understand? What goes on today is, you know, a lot of families of blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, you understand, are grieving in the funeral homes. They're grieving in the hospital, man, because their loved one, man, is out here in the streets doing not God knows what, and turns around and gets shot or get killed. You understand? All through stupidity, all through wickedness and straight violence. You understand? This is why our people, you know, are off the way they are. Because you're hating on your brother, you're hating on your sister, sisters are hating on their sisters. You understand? There's never a sit down to talk out the problem and solve it by a handshake, a hug. You understand? And now reunite with each other and continue to move on with the process. But instead, no, man, over the most childish things that have no value is what, you know, is what's putting our children in the ground today. That's having mothers and fathers, man, grandmothers and grandfathers, siblings, which is brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles and cousins that are now grieving over a loved one that is now in the ground that, like I said, that was killed over stupidity, killed over things that have no value to die for. And it goes the same as well for a brother who's now doing time in jail where he think that's being cool. You know, excuse my French, but, you know, I'm a real nigga in the case now, you know, because I shot me a nigga, man. I shot him down and whatnot. You understand? And, you know, a lot of our people, man, are destroyed, you know, destroyed off of that. You understand? And that all goes through the processes of that hatred that we have towards each other. And that hatred, man, brothers that hate a lot of brothers, man, that hate on their own people, man, you really hate yourselves, man. You really hate yourselves. You understand? And it also goes also through the instigating, the hidden hand of society that is putting the agenda around to keep our people to go against each other, keeping our people thinking that we're the enemy when the real enemy around you is printing the money. The real enemy around you is putting the drugs in your neighborhood. You understand? There was times where Bloods and Crips of gangs were protecting each other. They were protecting their neighborhoods and were protecting the people of their neighborhoods. We're not doing that no more. You understand? And not for nothing, you know, we're not just doing that on our own. You understand? The agenda of the people that's in power, that's in the White House. You understand? Your government system that's causing this dividing, you know, attention between our people, man, of being enemies with each other. So the Lord says, man, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. That is a commandment and a law that we're supposed to be keeping. That's a law that was given to us by the Most High. Love your brother and your sister, man. You understand? Love your brother, man. Love your sister. The trials and tribulations of what they're going through, you're going through the same thing as well. You understand? And I mean, just hatred upon hatred with our own people. Read verse 18 for me, Mighty King Baba Kashaw.
Con, the book of Leviticus 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
So not for nothing, man, you know, you're supposed to love your brother like you love yourself. You understand? Not avenging, of killing another brother from a brother getting killed from another brother. You understand? You know, you have these gangs that sit up here and avenge on each other. You know, damn, they shot our right hand man down. That was my homie. You understand? And now they want to, that hatred builds up. that perpetual hatred builds up for our people. You know, for now, he wants to go and he wants to avenge for his boy at the end. You understand? But these are the commandments right here that the Lord sit here and says we're not supposed to be doing with each other, man. Love your neighbor. Your neighbor is your brother, your sister of your nation. So-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. You understand? That's the love and compassion that the Lord requires for us to do, man. You know, not killing one another, man. Do you think that's a beautiful thing in the sight of the Most High? When he's looking at his children killing one, you know, killing off each other, man, doing the real enemy of these other nations, you understand, doing them the favor of the stuff that they want to do to you. You're doing it better than what they're doing at the end of it. So the Lord is not requiring, you know, hatred on our people, man. That's a love and that's a Salakia, that's a law and that's a commandment we're not supposed to be doing with each other, man. You know, in these last days, man, it is time to come back to the tender and delicateness, man, that we once were at one point in time, man. You know, the tender and delicateness, man, the love and compassion, man, you know, it's a beautiful thing, man, when we look at our people gathered together in righteousness, man. You know, but this hatred, man, that, you know, killing one another, man, that's not pleased in the eyes of the Most High. You know, that is a very wicked sight in the eyes of the Most High. Let me get real quick, Cain. Let me get 1 John chapter 3 and verse 15. You know, because this goes, you know, you know, this even connects, that still goes to the perpetual hatred that our people have on each other. You know, and the hatred is wrong what we do with each other, man. You know, we make music about each other, just killing one another. You know, we make mockery of degrading our women, you know, teaching our children how to grow up and just attain the same thing, man. You understand? When the real actions of the lifestyle of how you're supposed to be living is getting yourself in order, getting your wife in order, getting your children in order, man, and guiding yourselves, man, guiding you and your family back to the Most High. You know, brothers that are doing these videos that are out on the highways and byways, man, you know, we out here to guide our people back to the Most High. You know, our people that has families, that have wives, that have, you know, families of wives and children, you know, they're guiding them back to the Most High. Bring that out for me, King Baba Kushar.
Salaki, was that 3 and 13 or 3 and 15?
3 and 15, Mighty King Baba Kushar.
Khan. The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. And
So the
ye
Lord,
know,
continue.
Khan, and ye know that no murderer shall have eternal life abiding in him.
So not for nothing, man. The Lord is giving us another heads up. You understand? If you hate your brother, man, if you have a evil thought, a hatred thought towards another brother of your nation, man, you understand? The mean mugging that our people do with each other, you understand? The cursing each other out, the fighting and all that, man. The Lord said, man, that applies hate right there. And if you hating that appliance onto your brothers, man, you're a murderer in the Most High's eyes, man. You know, and that's not a beautiful sight in the sight of the Most High. That's not a beautiful sight at all. So this is one of the commandments out of the 613 laws and commandments given to us. You understand? These are one of the commandments that are given to us that we're not supposed to be attained to doing with each other, man. We're not supposed to be hurting each other, man. We're not supposed to be degrading our women, man. We're not supposed to be, you know, teaching our children how to just promote the same violence, to walk in the same wicked steps that you're walking in. It's time to get right in these last days. You understand? And the laws, like I said, are very, very important, man. It's part of your life. You understand? The Most High gave you these laws and commandments for a reason. You understand? Real quick, Cain, let me get Exodus chapter 20, and you can start at verse 2 for me, Cain.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Israel, Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So the Lord is telling us, man, I brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You understand? Bondage is another word for slavery. You understand? The Lord brought us out of that. You understand? Brought us out of that. Continue on, King.
Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So that's another commandment right there. That's another law that is given to the children of Israel. You understand? We shouldn't have other gods before the Most High God, the supreme God. You understand? The original God of everything, not of Islam, not of Seventh-day Adventists, not of Jehovah's Witness, not of Catholic, not of Baptist. You understand? Not of the Trinity, not of 5% and 3%, 3%ers, not of the Mormons. You understand? Not of Egyptology. You understand? The original Lord, the original God, whose real name is Yahweh. You understand? The word Yahweh, the word God is just a word that just means power. So the original name is Yahweh, and he's the original God that's over all these gods that are now being promoted on the earth. You understand? So the Lord said, the Most High says, you shouldn't have no other gods before me. And this is only talking to the children of Israel, man. This is talking to you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. This book is not a universal book for all nations. This is the inherited blueprint, records, and contract that explains to no one and no one else but the children of Israel. So the Most High is saying to you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, you shouldn't have no other gods before me. I'm your only God, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm your God, and that's it. No, nobody else above me, on side of me, under me, none of that. You can continue on, Mighty King.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
So not for nothing, these graven images, you understand, the cross, you understand, these symbols and everything, of things that are not attained to the Most High. We shouldn't be having any other graven images or anything. You understand? Continue on, Mighty King Baba Kushon.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third.
God. Continue on, King.
Unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
So not for nothing, man. You understand? We shouldn't be we should not be doing any of that at all towards our people, man. Our people shouldn't be doing any of that. Read the top for me one more time, King.
5.
Yeah, come.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them.
Khan, Salakia. So we're not supposed to be bowing down. You understand? Bowing down to other gods, bowing down and serving other traditions of different gods that is not of the Most High. You understand? The only bowing that you should be doing is in the laws and the commandments that are given to you by the Most High. You understand? Our people that give marriages, man, that, the brother kneels down and, puts up the ring, will you marry me? You understand? That's bowing down to other gods. You understand? That's worshiping another god, another idol, which is not of the Most High. So these laws are very, very important, Israel. These laws in the Bible are very, very important. And then, like I said before, they're not given to nobody else but to the children of Israel. You can continue on, Mighty King Baba Shaw.
Con. Verse 6. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
And keep the commandments. You understand? To those that are keeping the commandments, man, keep on enduring. Even if it's 5 commandments that and that's all that you know for the time being, keep on enduring on those commandments. You understand that the Lord will strengthen up your spirit for you to understand and now learn more. You understand? To learn more of this truth, because this truth is only for you. This truth is only given to the nation of your people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. Continue on, King Baba Kushaw.
Con. Verse 7. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
So you shouldn't have the Lord's name in vain, man. How we call him, Yahweh, and we have all these different names and everything except the original name of the Most High. Taking the Most High's name in vain. Talking about and God we trust. But what God are you really trusting? Is it of the Most High of the Bible? You understand? The mockery that these systems do when they have us place our hands in the court system on the Bible and then cast it away. Just throw the Bible to the side and now constitute their own laws and their own, that's disrespectful to the Most High. You understand? Because you're supposed to be giving them the laws and the commandments, not just casting it away and giving your own opinions and your own laws and your own statutes. You understand? That is doing what? Not guiding our people back to the Most High, keeping our people in sin, continuing to keep our people in sin. And that's what these nations on the earth, especially the one nation of all, so-called white man, so-called white nation. You understand? Their job is to keep you in sin. You understand? When you look at the laws of the so-called white man's laws and his traditional systems and all that, the man has at least over 300,000 laws. And that's all to keep you away from the 613 laws that the Most High gave to you. And when you actually look at the laws, the original laws that are on the earth, the original laws on the earth are the laws and the commandments in the Bible. Continue on, Mighty King Baba Kushaw.
Con. Verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
So the Lord said the Sabbath day. That's a law and a commandment there. You understand? The Sabbath day is actually a feast day of rest. That's what the word Sabbath means. To the new viewers that that'll come through or see in the video. You understand? This of the and getting edified. The word Sabbath means rest. The word Sabbath is actually Shabbat. That's a Hebrew name, which is our original language. You understand? We never spoke English. We never spoke, Spanish. The original language for the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians was Paleo Ancient Hebrew. You understand? That's our original language and customs. You understand? Even when it comes down to our alphabet, when it comes down to the writings, how America today, how the English customs and the Spanish customs have you writing from left to right. You understand? Our status was from right to left. That's how we wrote. Our letters are different from the original alphabet, from the American alphabet. So yes, we have our own language, and the original language is not English and is not Spanish. You understand? These are languages that were put on us. You understand? Through our oppressors. So it's very important. You understand? And what's crazy about it, you know, a lot of our people know so much other languages. You understand? You got people that say, yo, I know how to speak Russian. I know how to speak Italian. You know, and that's even in the favors of our people, man. They know how to speak English. They know how to, I mean, they know how to speak Spanish. They know how to speak Portuguese. They know how to speak Italian. They know how to speak so many languages, but the one language that they do everything in power to hide from our people is the original language of our people, which is the Palestinian Hebrew. You understand? So the Lord said to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. You understand? Continue on, King.
Come, verse 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So the Lord is saying the Sabbath day is a day that we're not supposed to be doing any type of work. You understand? You're not supposed to be doing any servile work, which is working for pay, working for wages. You understand? Your boss tells you, you know, oh, you want some overtime this weekend. You understand? The Sabbath day is a day of rest, and it goes all back to the works of the Most High. Everything that you see that's on the earth, all the way down to us, all created by the Most High. The Most High did everything, all the creations, the universe, all the planets, the planet that we're on. You understand? The sky. You understand? The nighttime, the daytime, the sun, the moon, the stars. You understand? The trees, the animals, even to the multitudes of people, he created all that. You understand? And the Sabbath day was a day that he rested from all the works of all creation that he has done. Within the 6 days, he rested on the seventh day. So that same law and tradition is now, I mean, that same custom is now put into a law and a tradition for us to sit up there and custom to, for us to sit up here and follow in these last days. And not only in these last days, that was the customs that we always kept, even in the ancient times. That goes all the way back up to the prophets that we read about today in the Bible, that are titled of the books in the Bible. You understand? So, yes, the Sabbath day is another day, and that's actually the fourth commandment in the Bible. You understand? The fourth commandment is to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. You understand? Keeping it holy under, you know, under holy convocations with the Most High. You understand? Not partying and throwing a barbecue and all that, man, and, you know, want to decide to go and just chill, you know, and you know, it's Saturday, let me take my kids to great adventures. No, the Lord said that's a day of rest right there. You understand? And it's something that's very important. Something very important. It's a feast day that is also given to us as well. You understand? You can continue more on that, King Bible Shop.
Come, verse 11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
So he hallowed it. You understand? He hallowed it by making that a blessed day for the children of Israel. He blessed that day there. So when we attain of keeping the Sabbath, which is from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, you understand? That's the day of rest of the Shabbat. Continue on, King Bible Kashon.
Come, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
So not for nothing, that is another commandment right there. You understand? Very beautiful laws. And not for nothing, like the Most High tells us, that the laws that he gives us are not grievous. And what that means is that they're not hard to sit here and do. You understand? It's not hard to stop worshiping other idols. It's not hard to not put the Lord's name in vain. It's not hard to sit up here and have not no hatred towards your brothers and your sisters of the people of your nation. You understand? It's not hard to do any of these things, but our people make it hard. And they make it hard because of the misguiding and the misunderstanding. You understand? So, you've been doing it for so long of a custom that when we now sit up here and we talk about it that's different, it really rattles our people because they're not used to correction. You understand? They think the things that they're doing is under, is doing good service for the Most High. Okay, I'm not killing nobody out in the street. I go home and smoke my little weed and just chill and whatnot. You understand? But that's actually not for nothing. That's not serving the Most High. You understand? That's breaking laws that not for nothing. Laws that are in the Bible are important that a lot of our people are not getting aware of getting educated on. And these churches are a terrible, terrible, terrible excuse. You understand? And there's a lot of blames on these pastors in these churches because they're the main root who's supposed to be sitting here showing our people, you understand, these laws and these commandments. And that's why people go into these churches, you come back out and you don't know nothing that's going on. You just think you did some good work because you went inside a building that is really leading you off the edge. But the men of the Lord that are out here on the highways and byways and the streets, you understand, we get looked at funny because now, you never heard it in the churches like you hear it in front of the men of the Lord that are out on the highways and byways. You understand? So yes, man, these laws are very important. And, it's edification to let our people know, man, to, that are getting in tune, watching these videos. Yes, man, get intact. You understand? Let go of your ways and come back to these laws and these commandments because you don't know the help that it would do for you. You don't know the beautiful guidance and everything that these laws will do for you. You understand? And it's not about you thinking of everybody else. It starts with you. It truly starts with you. You understand? We got to understand this is a spiritual warfare. It's not a physical warfare. So the Lord is saying, honor your mother and your father, man. Love your mother and love your father. You understand? The Lord put them in a participation and a volunteerance to your life of being in the world today. So, it's a beautiful thing, man. For you to have a mother and a father and whatnot, you understand, is the reason of why you're here from the Most High. So you shall always give that love and that compassion towards your mother and father. You understand? They're an important part of your life as well. They're also an important part of your life as well, man. And that's all of the Most High. The Most High anointed that man and woman to be your father and your mother for a reason, man. So always, to brothers and sisters that, don't get along with their parents, man, hey, man, start getting along with your mother and your father. You understand? Really love your mother and your father. You understand? Because not for nothing, man, besides the Most High and Yahweh Shai, the angels and whatnot, your spiritual brothers and sisters, man, they are what you have as well. You understand? They are what you have as well. So, that's a commandment and a law as well. That's another law from the Most High of loving and honoring your mother and father, man. You know what I'm saying? Honor and love your mother and your father. Continue on, Mighty King Baba Kushar.
Con, verse 13, thou shalt not kill.
Say, read that again, King.
Con, verse 13, thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill, man. You understand? Thou shalt not kill, and that, that's talking about killing your brother and killing your brother over nonsense. You understand? Killing your brother over stupidity, man. Killing your brother over something that could easily just be sat down and get talked on and get squashed. You understand? That's the original way of not killing your brother, man. Thou shalt not kill, man. Brothers and that are just with a wicked spirit on them, man. Just playing this real nigga term, this hood mentality. You understand? Killing your brothers and sisters, man. And what's sad, you don't do that to these other nations. You don't do that to the Chinese cop. You don't do that to the cops. You don't do that to none of these other nations, man. When the Chinese man is whooping your sister in the damn nail salon over a pedicure and some goddamn hairdo, you know, you brothers don't have that mentality, and you don't have that strength to sit up here and pull the trigger like the Asian man is pulling the trigger on our brother for quoting a bottle of water, man. You know, you're not circling the block on these crackers that are up here hanging your brothers and sisters on goddamn trees, man. You know, that's a time that you should be killing, man. Killing for something that's worth killing, man. You understand? Killing for something that's worth killing. But to just be killing your brother, man, over nonsense. Oh, he dissed me on a rap music. He dissed me on a rap song. Oh, he dissed my hood at the end of the day. You know, oh, he was in my territory. Oh, he owed me money at the end of the day, man. Been owing me money for the past 6 months, and all he doing is ducking me, man. So when I see him, it's on site, man. And that on site always, most of the time, come from either a behind whipping or it comes to getting killed, man. So the Lord says, man, that's another commandment as well, man. Thou shalt not kill, man. Don't kill your brother and your sister over stupidity, man. You know? Continue on, Mighty King Baba Kashaw.
Con, verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not commit adultery. What is adultery, man? A brother that is sleeping with another brother's wife, man. You know, going behind the scenes, and brother thinks she going to work, man, and she taking the day off to go to another brother. You know, brothers doing it the same way, man. Got a wife at home and you still sleeping around. The Most High said not to commit adultery, man. That is wicked and abominable to the Most High. That's a wicked sight in the eyes of the Most High. To not commit adultery, not sleeping around with other brothers' wives, man. You got brothers that are best of friends, man. Brothers grew up 20, 25 years with each other, known each other since high school, since 5th grade, grew up together. Their parents, their family, everybody know each other. You understand? The brothers look at each other like true brothers instead of friends. And behind the scenes, man, a brother that know another brother that he grew up damn near 15, 20 years, man, you understand, is behind the brother's back, man, sleeping with his woman. You know, you have these pastors in the church, man, that, you know, doing the same thing. Scheming on another brother's wife, man. And she going along with it, you know, because he can get her nails done. Because he can get her hair do. You know, he can get her a purse. You know, he could pay her cell phone bill. He could put some gas in the car. You know? And that's something that a lot of our brothers and sisters got to stop doing as well, man. You know, you sleeping around with another man because the things that pastor can give to you, you know, some of the things your husband can't give to you. And that's the thing that a lot of our people need to wake up on as well, man. A brother that don't have a lot of money, that, you know, that don't have a lot of money, that don't make him a lame person. It don't make him lame at all. The same way a brother that has a lot of money, it don't make him a real nigga. This adultery and this, man, yeah, our people got to stop that, man. So the Lord is making that as a commandment in the law as well. That's a law, just like how, you know, your government system, your court system, what do they apply through these systems? Nothing but laws at the end of the day. You can follow man's laws all day up and down. But you can't even hold 2 of the commandments out of the laws and the commandments of the 613 laws in the Bible. When it comes down to the Most High, a lot of our people, man, you don't like instruction of the Most High's laws. But these are the laws that you really need, man. You understand? And these laws, man, is representable for our people to gather back together and righteous unity, man. Because the unity we're doing today is totally off, man. It's totally off. Our people are just being nothing but separated, man. You know, separated and separated hatred towards each other. You know, it's bad enough with the bywords and everything, man, but now, you know, you have the flags and everything that also splits our people apart. You know, that really splits our people apart. So when they look at these flags and, you know, oh, that's not my people and whatnot. But little do you know, man, they are according to the Bible. So yes, man, you know, the Lord has made laws, the Most High made laws and commandments for a reason. And it's time for our people to adapt to that. You can continue on, Cain Bible Control. You can read down to verse 17.
Oh, con. The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 15. Thou shalt not steal. Verse
You shouldn't
16.
steal. You shouldn't steal. You understand? You shouldn't be stealing from your brother, man, stealing from your sister. You know, shouldn't be stealing at all, man, especially when it comes down to your people. You shouldn't be stealing at all. But where it hits hard and it hits the most, man, is when our people steal from one another. You know, a beautiful brother stealing from another beautiful brother. Beautiful sister is still stealing from another beautiful sister. You know, so yes, these are part of the 10 commandments in Exodus. But there's more than 10, there's more than just 10 laws. You understand? And these are the basics right here. These are the basics. But I also want to bring out some of the basics out of the 10, that is also in the first 5 books of the Bible. And that's where mostly the laws and the commandments are at. You understand? So this is the moral laws and civil laws that we're supposed to be attaining to each other, man. Stop having hatred towards each other, you know, following other idols. You understand? Having no love and compassion towards your parents. You understand? Sleeping around with your friend's wife, you know, and that goes with sisters as well. You know, sister sleeping with her best friend's husband, you know, that's totally off at the end of the day. You understand? Even when it comes down to the stealing, man, you know, and not for nothing, man, a lot of the stealing, man, you know, we get that from our oppressors. Because what have our oppressors done, man? They have done nothing but that's all they do on an everyday basis, man, is do nothing but steal. And they steal everything. They steal the resources. You know, look what Bill Gates is doing right now, stealing the natural seeds, you understand, of the natural growth of plants and, you know, food and vegetables and fruits. All we're getting today, man, is seedless goddamn fruits, seedless goddamn vegetables, man. The man is
Con.
now planting, the man is now wanting to use genetic seeds. You know, genetic seeds that do what? Doesn't contain to grow anything, man. You understand? So yes, man, you know, we should, yeah, man, we these laws and these commandments are very, very important. You understand? Very, very important. Continue on, Mighty King Baba Kushar.
Con. Verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
So you shouldn't be bear witness or false, you know, falsely against your neighbor. You know, stop telling lies on your brothers and your sisters. You know, I called the police on them because, you know, he hit on me at the end of the day. And little did she know she fell and just hurt her arm, but she'll tell the cops in the long run that, oh, he did that to me. You know, just all type of lies and whatnot, man. You know, bearing false witness, you know, against your neighbor, man. Just telling lies, you know, telling lies to scheme on your brother and scheme on your sister. Wicked as hell, man. It's very wicked at the end of the day. But these are commandments, man, and laws that attain took from the Most High of how we're not supposed to be with each other and how we are supposed to conduct with each other. You understand? You can read verse 17 for me, King Bible Show.
Verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
So not for nothing, man, we shouldn't be doing any of that of other people's stuff that's not yours, man. If that's not your wife at the end of the day, you shouldn't be having nothing to do with that man's wife. If that brother, you know, if that sister, you know what I'm saying, is with that husband, her best friend, that's one step you should not be in. That's one circle you shouldn't be stepping in right there. You shouldn't be sitting here scheming and plotting on your best friend's husband. Man. And this is what goes on in Israel, man. This is what's going on today in the world. You understand? Cain, when you get a chance, let me get the book of Leviticus. Give me chapter 19 and verse 28.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord.
So the Lord is talking about the printings, the cutting of the flesh. You know how people be making little cuts, you know, of the, you know, a person's name in their arm by using a razor or a knife or whatnot. You understand? And the printings that the Lord is talking about tattoos. You understand? We shouldn't be printing tattoos on our skin. You understand? That is abomination to the Most High, man. You know, your body is a temple. You understand? And the Most High dwells in the temple of the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. You understand? So you shouldn't be polluting your temple, even inside and outside. You understand? Putting these tattoos all over your body. You understand? That's polluting your body, man. You're polluting your temple when you're doing it. You understand? You know, you got that ink going all in your blood. You don't know the chemicals and stuff that is in there. You know, so even to our people who's getting edified in this video, you know, who's a first timer, you understand? The Lord said not to print any tattoos. So even if you have tattoos now, you understand? This is a request of telling you don't get no more tattoos. You understand? This is part of the laws right here and whatnot. You understand? You can give me Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 5, King. This is for you brothers right here. Because we also going to get to you sisters as well, because there's laws and commandments in the Bible that are given only to the women. There's commandments that are given to the men. There's commandments that are given to both the men and the women. You understand? But these laws right here, man, are the most beautiful and important laws ever. And the more that our people were accustomed to going back to these laws and commandments, trust me, man, the things that are going to receive to get so much better in your lives, man. You understand? Even while we're still in captivity, which we are in right now, we are still bondmen and bondwomen on the earth today, slave men and slave women. But even through the laws and the commandments, you understand, the Lord will still make beautiful openings for you, man. The Lord will still make a gap for you to still walk through. You understand? And don't get me wrong, man. Us men of the Lord, the women of the Lord, you know, we go through it every day in this wicked society, man. Financially, spiritually, physically, emotionally, man. We go through it. You understand? But the Lord, man, all praises through the Most High, man. You understand? Strengthening that spirit, man, for us to continue to keep pushing forward. You understand? And even while we pushing forward, man, like I said, Most High will make beautiful openings for you, man. You understand? Most High will still give you good terms, man, even while you're still in captivity. You understand? But you got to play your part. You know, you have to understand what these laws and these commandments are about. And that's why the Lord tells us in Revelations 1 and 3, blessed is he that readeth, man. That's even for sisters as well. The more you read this Bible, the more you get understanding. You understand? You get a lot of understanding. What are the churches doing today? They're telling you that half of the book is done away with. You understand? And was sad of it is that the main portion of the book that they tell you is done away with is the actual one that you that's accustomed to what you're supposed to be knowing. Because when you look at the laws and the commandments, you understand they're in the first 5 books of the Bible. But the pastor today tell you, oh, we don't go by the Old Testament no more. And that's why our people are destroyed and messed up, scattered all over the way they are, because you're telling them that basically the laws are done away with. You don't have to keep the laws or nothing. Basically, you don't have to keep the laws if the Bible is done away with. That makes no sense right there. That makes no sense at all. The Lord tells you, I come in the volume of the book, man. So everything from the first page of Genesis all the way to the last page of Revelations, you understand, is fulfilling, man, of what the laws and the commandments are being told. So it's very, very important with these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. You know, you can give me, yeah, you could bring that out, Bob, King Baba Kashaw, Salakia.
Khan, the book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 5. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
So the Lord is talking, this is to you brothers here, man. You understand? The Lord said, you shaving your head clean, having a clean bald head, cutting off the corners of your beard, which is destroying your beard. The Lord said you're not supposed to do that. You understand? You're not supposed to do that at all. You understand? When you look up the actual word of the definition to the word beard, you understand? The beard represents a badge of dignity. That's the true customs, man, of our beard, man. That's why we grow the beard. You understand? When you look at a lion, you understand, and you look at an actual brother, man, with a fro and his beard connected together, it's just like the image of that lion. It's like the image of that male lion. And the male lion, he don't cut off the corners of the bottom of it of his mouth. You understand? Of his beard. That hair, yeah, is all hair, but that's actually, man, like the lion's beard right there. So you have that bold look like the lion. So the Lord says, yes, man, we're not supposed to cut off our beards, man. We're not supposed to shave our beards off for a goatee, or, you know, I got this interview, man, so, you know, I want to look nice and sharp and whatnot. No, man, you look sharp, man, with your beard. You know, your beard represents royalty to you, King. And that's to you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indian men that grow a beard. You know, I don't have much, man, but hey, man, I'm happy with what I have. You know, and bit by bit is growing. You know, so that beard represents the badge of dignity, man. You know, shaving off your hair at the end of the day, nah, man, that's not the works of the Most High. Let your wool shine, man. Let your wool grow, man. Because that's what you actually have. You have woolly texture hair, so-called black men. You have woolly hair, man. You have sheep texture hair, man. And you have the same texture that the Most High has, man. You have the same texture that your Messiah, your big brother, Hamashiach, Womalaki Habashai has, who the world calls Jesus Christ, man. He don't have that stringy hair, what you see in these damn images in these churches today. That's all over the 4 corners of the earth, man. You understand? Some stringy dog hair, man. Nah, the Most High don't have that. Yahweh Shai doesn't have that, man. You can give me King. You can give me Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. We want to touch on a little bit with the sisters now. You understand? Because there's laws and commandments that are also given to y'all as well. You understand? So we now going to go into the dress code and laws. You understand? The Lord made a dress code for us, man. Just like how the so-called white man, when you go to his club, you know, the club requires, you can't come in with sneakers and boots. You know, you got to have on shoes. You know, come in here with a nice button down. You know, you could wear some jeans, but you got to have some shoes or something with it. You know, they have a require of a dress code. You understand? When you go to your certain jobs that work for security, or you work for a certain company that requires a uniform, you understand that's their dress code. You know, you have the schools today that makes uniforms for the children. You know, even they have a dress code. You understand? Mondays and Thursdays, they have to wear the uniform, but, Friday is casual day. You know, they can put on regular clothes. You understand? And what's funny about it is that that's a law and a custom that our people got to sit up here and follow. You understand? Our people who are police officers, you just don't go and wear regular clothes unless if you're with a certain organization of that police system that, which we know are detectives, DTs at the end of the day that, dress up in regular clothes to sit up here and throw off the vision of, them being cops and whatnot. But the actual officer, he wears the required uniform. You understand? And that required uniform is that police uniform. So we, the same way man gives us a dress code in law, from our jobs, if you're working for the system, you're working for the government, you're working for certain jobs and all that, man. Even to your children, man, that go to school. They have a certain dress code and laws. So the same way man gives dress code and laws, man, for all types of things, guess what? The Most High gave a dress code and law, not only to us men, but to our beautiful sisters as well, man. Not only to you beautiful kings, man, you have a dress code and law, but you beautiful sisters of Israel, man, you have a dress code and law as well. And we're going to jump on that. Let's get that, Cain Bible Shah.
Con, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God.
So the Lord is talking about, thou shalt not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, sisters. What that pertaineth is talking about, it means who it belongs to. You understand? And that's talking about what is the main dress law, what is one of the main clothing that men wear the most? Those are pants. You understand? The pants are designed for the men. You understand? Society doesn't want to tell you that, but the Lord right here is telling you that. The Lord is telling you the pants are made for the men. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. That's talking about what is the dress code for women? A dress. You understand? Our women are not supposed to be wearing pants. And there's a reason and customs to why we're not supposed to be, sisters are not supposed to be wearing pants. You understand? Because they're not designed for the woman at all. You understand? The dresses are put for a woman for a reason. You understand? To cover up in better terms. And it's not being graphic or anything like that. I don't want to sound graphic. I don't want to, I don't want to make it sound graphic, but you sisters have a cavity that, not for nothing, that has to breathe out all times. You understand? And that's talking about your private parts right there. You understand? Wearing pants, man, it causes a lot of things. Causes infections. You understand? Causes infections down there and all that. Don't want to be graphic, Israel. You understand? But these are the true things behind the scenes of women that wear pants. Not only that, but you're not supposed to be showing the shape of your body out here in the streets, out here to the world. You understand? You're supposed to have, the dress, you understand, is a representation, man, of how you're supposed to dress according to the Most High. You understand? That is your modest apparel right there. That is the original apparel for sisters to sit up here and wear. But society today, man, sits up here and teaches our women that, nah, you know, he could wear pants, I could wear pants too. And that really goes back to the Amelia Bloomer spirit. Now, what I mean by the Amelia Bloomer spirit, there was a so-called white woman whose name is Amelia Bloomer. Back in the 1800s, you understand, she pulled up a movement called the Woman's Suffering Movement. And the Woman's Suffering Movement contained on of she could do, you know, what it represented is that sisters, women can be equal to the men. If the men can wear pants, we can wear pants. You understand? If the man can sit up here and be a construction worker, I can be a construction worker today as well. And what do you see in this day's customs today? You understand? You see women, man, that are playing men's sports. You see women today, man, that, you know, they think that they could do the same customs of what men can sit here and do. And that's not the structure and order that the Lord put it to be. That's not the Lord, that's not the structure and order that the Most High has put. There's never been nothing of equalness on the earth when it comes to men and women. You understand? When the Most High gave creation to man and women, he didn't create them from the same terms, you understand, of what the Most High did with man, creating them from the dust of the ground. You understand? You sisters being created from the man's rib. So there's never been an equal terms at the end of the day. You understand? It's never been that at the end of the day. The Lord has never sat here. The Most High never made it equal of the men and the women. There's a certain order and structure for the men. There's a certain order and structure for the women. You understand? And that's what also kills it as well. You understand? The feminine spirit and the masculine spirit. That's how different that the Most High attained it to be. That's why the Most High gave the men the masculine spirit. That's why the Most High gave the women the effeminate spirit. Because what does the effeminate spirit represent? It represents the compassion, the love, the nurture towards the wife, towards her husband, towards her children. You understand? That love and tenderness that she appeals to her husband, to her children. And what does the masculine spirit represent? It represents the structure, the discipline, and order. And that's why, like, when you look at it today, a lot of our children are out of order, man. You understand? Because they don't have men present. They don't have a father present to sit here and attain that discipline, that structure and order. You understand? And this is why you got sisters today that, you know, her and the husband is separated, and you're getting mad at the husband because you're disciplining him of showing him of what responsibility is about. You know, I was looking at a Facebook video one time where the sister, you know, went to go and pick up, you know, the husband, you know, the ex-husband dropped off, you know, his son and whatnot. And she got mad at the husband because he put the son to sit up here and mow the lawn, and got mad. Oh, why are you sitting here doing that? You know, had him sit up here and clean up his mess and stuff, you know, when he stays with his father. Like, his father was giving him disciplinary, you know, structures of what to do when you come and spend the night, or when you come over and you chill at my house. You understand? And she got mad over that, man. She got mad over her ex-husband disciplining not her son, their son. Disciplining their son. Not whipping the boy, not doing nothing. But because you're showing him responsibility, you understand that when he gets older, you know, he's going to have to attain responsibility. And what does she sit there and tell him? Oh, he don't do that over here. He don't clean his room. I clean his room. And this is why our children, man, are going the ways that they're going, man. They're going into homosexuality. They're going into all type of, you know, feminine terms. Even this game banging and all that, man, that comes from a feminine spirit, man. Because the father's not present, man. Father not present at all. So the father, man, plays a very important part as well, man, when it comes to the son's life, man. Very, very important, man. You understand? Because that's where that discipline, that structure and order comes in at, man. You understand? So yes, the pants are designed for the men. The dresses are designed for a woman. You understand? Man shouldn't be through homosexuality wearing a damn dress. You understand? And look how this place of this world today is going off, man. You know, you go out to an amusement park, you know, you got to be careful when your son, when your daughter goes to the bathroom. Got to be careful when your child goes to the damn, you know, your daughter goes to the damn bathroom, man. You got a dude with a damn full-grown beard in there with a dress on, with a spirit thinking he a damn female. You understand? You know, this is wicked as crazy, man. It's wicked as hell. But this is how society, man, and these are the ways of keeping us away from the laws and the commandments. This is why these laws and commandments are very, very important in Israel. This is why these laws and these commandments are very important. These laws that has been brought out in this lesson tonight is very, very important. And there's a lot more. This is just scratching in the surface right here. But this is the milk that we're giving now. You understand? This is the milk that needs to be given now. From the milk, it goes to the food. That when you now get to the food, you can chew it and now get, you know, and let it stick to your ribs. You understand? Let it give you the vitamins and the minerals, the protein that you sit up here and you need, man, to make your body function well, man. You know, and really what that's talking about is the protein, the vitamins and minerals, man, to strengthen up your spirit, because your flesh, your body is a shell for your spirit. So it's very important with these laws and these commandments. You can give me Cain, you can give me Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 8. This is still sitting on the sisters at the end of the day. You understand? And this is also sitting on you brothers as well. We're going to bring the dress coding out for you brothers as well too. You understand? So sisters, in these last days, man, you know, they got all different materials for different seasons, for all 4 seasons of the seasons. They got summer dresses, spring dresses. You got dresses for the fall, dresses for the winter. You understand? Inside the shelter of your house, that's different. But when you're out in the streets, when you're out in the world, you understand, the Most High want to see you in the world. When you're outside among other people, he want to see you in your righteous apparel. Bring that out for me, Cain Baba Kushar, because this is what's going to happen. You know, this is what's going to happen to our women, to our men. You understand? And like I said, through the ways of this wicked society, man, through the LGBTQ, man, that got our men wearing damn stilettos and wearing a damn leather dress, man. You know, you got sisters, man, with they, you know, with a brother's Nike, you know, a Nike wear that is made for the brothers at the end of the day. You understand? She getting a fade like how brothers get a fade at the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Tilting the Yankee hat, you know, to the side like she a damn dude at the end of the day, man. And that's not the righteous apparel, man, because these unrighteous apparels that we wearing, man, you know, and through these laws that are not attained to the Bible, this is what got our people running reckless, man. This is what got our people going off. This is what got our people scattered in directions that is not in the direction of the Most High. Continue on, Mighty Cain Baba Kushar.
God, the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 8. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children and all such as are clothed in strange apparel.
So that strange apparel, what is that strange apparel the Lord is talking about? That strange apparel is talking about men that are wearing dresses, women that are wearing pants. You understand? That's strange apparel right there. And if the Lord, man, in the day of the Lord's second coming on the earth, man, if you're still in that same attire in that day, you're finished. You understand? It's not like these Christian churches that tell you, oh, the Lord is going to love you the way that you are. You understand? The Lord is going to sit up here. The Lord is going to love you, child. Hell no. If you're not in the ways of the laws and the commandments that the Lord is attaining from the Father, you're done. You're finished in that day, man. The Lord is going to split you right in half, man. Ain't going to be, oh, look at my child, man. I know you're a little confused and whatnot. I'll give you a pass. It's all right. No, that's not happening in the day of the Lord. You might get a pass from men in this society, man. You might get a pass from men, but you're not getting a pass from the Most High. So these videos, man, the men out here that are doing these videos, the men of the Lord that are out here on the highways and byways, this archaeology, history, the edification is not only to show our people who they are and the laws that are given to us, but most importantly, we're warning you. If you don't get right, if you don't come back to these laws and commandments, you understand, things are going to be very, very, very hard for you. They're going to be very harsh by Yahweh and that day of his return. So if you're clothed in strange apparel, man, you understand, if you're not according back to the laws of what Zephaniah 1 and 8 is talking about, what Deuteronomy, what Leviticus 18 and 20, Deuteronomy 22 and 5 is talking about, you understand? To you sisters, hey man, the Lord is going to deal with you. And he's going to deal with you in a way you're going to wish you never got dealt with like that. You understand? Let's touch on someone with the brothers at the end of the day with the dress code. Let's go to Numbers chapter 15 and verse 38, King.
Con, the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Continue on, Mighty King Bible Control.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring.
So the fringes that the Lord is talking about, man, the fringes are a part of the dress code, and that brothers, that our people, when they see brothers out here on the highways and byways, sisters as well, man, that wear the tassels. You understand? That's another word for fringes. When they're wearing the tassels among the ends of their dresses, brothers that are wearing the tassels on their shirts, the fringes, you understand? These fringes are part of our dress code. This is what our brothers, man, wore in the ancient times. This is how our people dressed during the ancient times. You understand? This was their custom. So the Lord is saying the fringes and the ribbon of blue. Over your fringes should be a border of ribbon of blue. That represents the royalty right there. But the fringes also represent the laws and the commandments. You understand? So now that you're understanding some of these laws and these commandments, you understand? And that goes even to, like, for instance, brothers that, you come into this truth, you putting on your fringes, but let's say one day you get an urge that you want to smoke some weed again. These fringes are here to remind you that you're not able to do that no more. These fringes are a reminder for what you used to go a whoring when you was out here in the streets. You understand? When you were selling drugs, when you were just having lust of just wanting to sleep with women, when you were having the evil eye towards your brother, when you were sitting up here game banging towards your brother, sitting up here disrespecting the elderly people, having no respect at all for your mother and your father. You understand? But now the Lord woke you up, got you putting on your fringes now. These are to remind you, man, you're not supposed to do those things that you used to do in a whoring out in the world. So it's very important. This is what these dress code and laws are very, very important for. So like I said before, just how man gives you a dress code in law, the Lord gave us a dress code in law, man. And he gave us one of the most beautiful dress code in laws ever, man. Gave us a beautiful dress code, man. You understand? You know, I feel so great, man, when I put on my shirts, man, and see my fringes on them, man. You know, that's a beautiful sight, man. It's a beautiful sight when you walking down the street and you run into another brother or run into another sister
Con.
and they wearing their fringes, man. Do you know how beautiful that feels, man? Do you know how great that feels, man? When you just walking, man, and you just hear Shalom, King, and you turn around and you looking around and the brother's waving up to you, man. And he got on his fringes just like you got on, man. That's a beautiful sight right there, man. That's a very beautiful sight, man. And it feels so good because you know you're not alone. You know you're not alone in this, man. You got brothers and sisters that are waking up now. You know what I'm saying? And it would be more beautiful to see a lot more of our brothers and sisters, which we do. You understand? And I'm talking about our brothers and sisters that we congregate together with, man. You know, that we hold the beautiful and most beautiful dedicated feast days ever, man. You understand? You know, the numbering of your congregation, man, when we all come together for the Lord's feast days, man, you know, how we all in the Most High's royal apparel, man, with our fringes on and everything, man, seeing our sisters and our brothers, seeing the children of those brothers and sisters, man, with their fringes on, man, that's a beautiful sight right there, man. You know, I love it, man, when Passover season comes, man, when tabernacles come, you know, when the feast of dedication and feast of first fruits. You understand? Just being on the highways and byways with my brothers, man. It feels so good, man, to see me, not only me, but see my brothers with their fringes on as well. You understand? So, you know, that's nothing wrong, man. That doesn't make it look whack, man. You understand? And that is nothing wrong with wearing your fringes, man. You understand? And your fringes also help protect you in these last days as well, man. From going back into the ways of the world, man, and the angels and everything that the Lord puts around you, man, from conducting of coming back to these laws and these commandments, man. And that's a beautiful commandment right there. That's a beautiful law for us to sit up here and follow, man. So right now I'm just showing you, you know, the basics of the laws and commandments that the Lord has given to us, man, that the Most High has created for us. You understand that He has written down that's only attained to us, man. You understand? So just like how we have laws from man, you know, how we follow man's laws, we need to follow a lot more and conduct to more of the Most High's laws, man, which are very more important, man, which are more beautiful and whatnot, you know, which are way more beautiful and whatnot, man. So yes, this is a beautiful time, man, to know that you're an Israelite. And now that you know you're an Israelite, your next step now is understanding the laws and commandments, understanding that there's more than 10 commandments. And now your main and last and final beautiful step is to now take heed and take action. Now you got to play your part. You got to now put these, you know, put these laws into perspective now. You have to now follow them with your actions. You understand? Not just know them, but now you got to play your part. You understand? And that's why we have a soul saying, man, we're going to show you better than we could tell you. You know, don't talk about it, be about it. The Lord wants your actions. The Lord wants your actions more than your words, man. You know, because your words speak, your actions speak a lot louder than your words. So now that you're knowing some of these laws and these commandments, it's now to start taking time to take heed to them and start putting that into action. Because when you do now, the Lord will strengthen that spirit up and now feed you more and now take you from the milk to now bringing you to the food. You understand? To now where you're able to know enough to come out here and teach your people as well. You understand? And that's the duty for our people to sit here and do, man. Sisters teaching the sisters, brothers teaching the brothers and the sisters and the children. You know,
Shalakia, precept.
Khan, can't bring that out, Mighty King Bible Construct.
Con, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what doeth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I have commanded this day for thy good.
And those are the main powerful laws right there, man. You know, now that you know these laws, now that you're understanding what these laws are, you got to now walk in them now. You know, you can't sit here and teach brothers and sisters the truth, and then yet behind the door, behind the scenes, you still smoking weed. You know, you still committing adultery. You know, you still having an evil eye towards the people of your nation. You understand? No, you got to fully walk in this now. You know, you can't have one foot in, you can't have one foot out. You know, both feet got to be on either side. You know, and no side is better than the right side, man. You know, walking in all his ways, man, and knowing these commandments. Because we taught in the churches that, this is religion, but where in the Bible does the Lord talk about religion? You know, this is the book of the commandments right here, man. You understand? Let me get King, you can give me Deuteronomy you can give me Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13.
Con, the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, and they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
So not for nothing, this is talking here about homosexuality. You understand? This is talking about homosexuality that's not permitted for our people to sit here and do. Men should not be sleeping with men. Women should not be sleeping with women. You understand? That is a very confused thing, man, and it's a very off thing, because through these, through homosexuality brings a lot of diseases. You understand? And it just messes up the spirit and the mind of our people, man. You understand? If the Lord created you through your parents, man, created you through your parents to be a man, you come out the womb of your moms as a boy. You understand? That's who you're supposed to be. You came out the womb of your moms as a girl, you're supposed to be a woman now. Not trying to be a man, not trying to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's not permitted in the Most High's eyes right now. The Lord is not dealing with that right now. You understand? And that's also a law. That's also a law. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be sleeping, male and female. You understand? The male carries the key, the woman has the lock. You understand? Two locks can't sit here and do nothing without a key. Two keys with no lock can't sit up here and open up nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? It has to be each of the other. It has to be a key and it has to be a lock. Not two locks, not two keys. You understand? So yes, man, this is very, very important. And the more that our people start recognizing what the laws and the commandments are, you could see the Most High will sit up here and give you the spirit to see that everything that you see that goes on in this wicked kingdom today, that's going on, everything all over the four corners of the earth, if you really look at it, it's going against the Most High. It's really truly going against the Most High, and it's going against his laws and his commandments given to the children of Israel. And this is why these other nations promote all of this through their government systems and all that. You understand? Because these other nations, they know who you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians are, man. They know who you are according to the Bible. They truly know who you are. And it's their job and their duty. Same way that is our duty and our job to edify our people and come back to the laws and the commandments. It's their duty and their and their customs to keep you away from the Most High's law. It's their job to sit there and do that. The Lord created them for wickedness, man. The Lord created them for wickedness towards the children of Israel. Because that's all that these people are good for. They're good for wickedness, man. They're not good for nothing else. So that's why it's very important for us to understand what the laws and the commandments are coming are doing. You understand? So to brothers and sisters, you understand, of Israel, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indian men, women, and children, your dress coding is a woman with a dress on, with her fringes, with her hair covered, and a man and a brother with his fringes on, not wearing a damn dress. Sisters not wearing pants. The Lord is actually showing you what clothes are given to the men and what clothing are given to the women. So it's very important of what the fringes are about, man. It's very important of why we put on our fringe. Because not only that's a royal apparel given to us by the Most High, but it helps us also remember of what the commandments and the statutes are all about as well. And a reminder to keep you away from doing that. That's why it's very important to wear your fringes. Very important to wear your fringes, because your fringes is like a brain on your shirt, man, to help remind you when you feel or you get in that spirit through the devices of this wicked kingdom, man, of getting ready to have you go off. These fringes are to set you back in your place, man, where you belong. To help keep you back and, to help keep you on a straight path. And most importantly, on the most high straight path. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3.
What was that again?
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
So not for nothing, what the Lord is talking about here is when we sit up here and we attain marriage, having children, having relationships with these other nations. You understand? The Lord said, thou shalt not make marriages with them. That's talking about Israel having, families with other nations, having friendship with other nations. You understand? We shall only be with our own people. You understand? When it comes to friendship, when it comes to love and compassion, when it comes to having children, having a relationship with that man and that woman, it should be of your own nation. Brothers, you should be with your own sisters of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. Sisters, you should be with only the men of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indian men. You understand? This is the main reason, this is also a law and a commandment as well. You can continue on, King.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
So not for nothing, man, this is a reason of why the Most High wants us to attain with our own people. You understand? Because when we make marriages and relationships with these other people, man, what do we start accustoming to? We start converting to Islam. We start converting to 5% and 3%. All these man-made religion platforms, man. You understand? All these handmade religions that has nothing to do with our heritage of our laws and traditions and our customs of the Most High of our God that we sit up here and we serve. And what did they do, man? They take us away from knowing our God, knowing our Messiah. You understand? And like not for nothing, you get with these other nations, Do any of these other nations sit up here and say, well, do you know that you're an Israelite? I would like to sit up here and help convert to you, help convert with your you know, convert with your God at the end of the day. They don't do that, man. You understand? They're accustomed to their own God, and what do? They pull you away from your heavenly Father. So the Lord says, man, we shouldn't make marriages with other nations of people. And that's talking to you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indian men, women, and children. You understand? Kane, you can give me First Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 4.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
So like when we pray, man, when we out here teaching the words of the Bible to our people and whatnot, you understand, we're not supposed to have our heads covered. We're not supposed to have our heads covered at all when we're prophesying and bringing out the Lord's words, man. You understand? That's dishonoring him right there. You understand? That's dishonoring him, man, when we cover the head. Give me verse 5, King.
Verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven.
So not for nothing, women, sisters that sit up here and don't cover their head when they pray, when they prophesying, which means when they're teaching sisters and whatnot, to the Most High is like you shaving your head bald. You understand? So these are laws and rules that we're supposed to sit here and conduct to when it comes down to the Most High. You understand? Kane, you can give me real quick. You can give me Leviticus chapter 11, and you can start at verse 2 for me.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
You can go to verse 3 for me.
Verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat.
So what the Lord means by the animals of the earth, you understand, when it's talking about the beasts, the animals that are on the earth, you understand, from animals that live on the land, animals that live in the water, animals that live in the air, you understand, each of these animals, they carry a certain ability that gives us the indicator that the Lord has made to show us the indicator of this animal being clean to sit here and eat. You understand? So not for nothing, we're not supposed to just eat anything, that of beasts, which is talking about animals. You understand? The Lord made animals that were clean for us to eat, and he made animals that are unclean for us to eat. You understand? Now, this right here, this is now going into the dietary law. This is now talking about the things that we consume in our bodies when we eat. You understand? The Lord even gave us a law and commandment on animals that we're supposed to eat and we're not supposed to eat. You understand? So any animal that cheweth the cud, that is cloven-footed, you understand? These are clean animals. Now I want to give you a representation of one animal, the cow. You understand? The cow is a cud chew. And what the cud chewing is, Israel, is the animal, the cow, like for instance, the cow would, we know the animal eats the grass. So what he does when he eats the grass, you understand, the animal chews on the grass. That's called cud chewing. He chews on the grass, and what he does is he swallows the grass. You understand? Now it's not like us, how we sit here and we eat our food. Once we swallow it, it goes in, it goes down in our body. You understand? The cow, you understand, he has certain organs in his body. You understand? He has different organs in his body, stomachs, and all that. That what it does is go through certain areas of the animal. And what it does, it returns the food back up to his mouth for him to start chewing on it again. You understand? And this is a main indicator of showing that the animal is clean to eat. You understand? And the animal, he'll chew on the grass few times. He'll swallow it a few times, and what it does goes through certain organs. You understand? Goes through certain parts of the stomachs that is send it right back up. That's how we know. That's the Lord's signs that He gives to us of showing us the animal is clean. You understand? Now we have animals that don't chew the cud. We got animals that do chew the cud, but they don't bring it back up to chew to re-swallow it again. You got some animals, man, that have twisted stomachs, have injuries and all that. You understand? But it's an indicator of showing that the animal is clean, the animal is unclean. You understand? Even when it goes back to the ancient times of our prophet, our brother Noah. You understand? When Noah brought the animals into the ark, you understand? He brought them in different groups. He brought clean animals in by the groups of 7, and he brought unclean animals in by groups of 2. These were the separations of showing animals who were unclean and animals who were clean. You understand? You could drop down to verse 7 for me, Mighty King Baba Kashaw.
Come, verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
What is the pig?
Unclean to you.
So the pig is unclean. We know what the swine is. The swine is talking about the pork. It's talking about the pig. You understand? Now the pig is cloven-footed, just like the cow, just like certain unclean animals, but yet he cheweth not the cud. You understand? He is unclean unto you. And the pig is the worst animal on the earth. The pig is actually the garbage disposal that cleans the earth. You understand? And the animal don't eat grass. He don't eat none of that, man. This animal, man, will eat his own babies. They eat feces. You understand? You could give the animal a bucket of, I saw a video where a farmer, he had pigs. He gave a bucket of fruit to the pig. And the pig swallowed it up, ate it up like nothing. And then a minute later, he had a bucket of dead rats and threw it in right behind it. And he cleaned that up like no tomorrow. You understand? Now you have animals that have sweat glands. So they sweat out bacteria, all type of filth, all that. Just like us when we sweat. You understand? When we sweat, we're actually letting out toxins and bacteria through our pores. So they have sweat glands that do the same thing. But the pig, for instance, doesn't have sweat glands. So all the bacteria, toxins, and everything, that stays in the animal. That stays in the animal. You understand? Now, we got families that eat pig feet, that eat chitlins, and that's the actual parts of the pig. You understand? Now, you take pig feet, not for nothing, they put it inside they put it inside the stores. You understand? And now, if you see it in your food market, if you see it in the meat section, you understand? Isn't that piece of that meat that they have wrapped up and stamped how many pounds it is, how much it costs? If I'm not mistaken, this should be clean, right? How come you take pig feet home and when you cook it or boil it, it smells like straight behind at the end of it? Smells disgusting, man. Same thing that goes with chitlins. Why do you have to re-clean it again if from the FDA it is already clean? You understand? That's how disgusting that this animal is. And what is these unclean animals providing to our people, man, when we eat it and we consume pork bacon, pork chops, pork ribs? You know what you're doing? Do you know what that creates to our people, man? Because we're on the top of the shelf when it comes to that. High blood pressure, diabetes, gout, cancers. You understand? Different diseases that our people are filling up the hospitals and the pharmaceutical companies with, man. Because these people are not letting you know, the FDA is not letting you know about these unclean animals that we're sitting up here eating. I remember back in the 90s, they had a commercial of how they have today. I'm looking at a commercial they have today that says beef, it's what's for dinner. Before that, they used to have a commercial just like that that said pork, the new white meat. And this was back in the 90s that they used to have that commercial. You understand? But they're not letting you know, wait a minute, this is an unclean animal. You're not supposed to eat that. They're telling you it's the new white meat. But the Lord is telling you here, let's read on. Can you read that from the top for me one more time, King?
Con, the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
Continue on, mighty King.
Verse 8. Of their flesh ye shall not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
So the Lord is saying that when it comes to eating pork chops, that applewood smoked bacon, you understand, our Ephraimite people and Dominican people, you know, our Simeon people, so-called Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, when they make that beni, you understand, that's pork right there. You understand? The Lord said you not only should be consuming that in your body, you shouldn't even touch that animal. And what the Lord means by touching that animal is when they chop him up and they put him in your produce section and you go in and buying it. The Lord said, man, don't even pick up the package at that damn animal body part is in. Because it's unclean, man. This is what's giving our people the high blood pressure. And like I said, the gout, diabetes, cancer, you understand? You know how much worms and parasites crawl in our people's body from eating these animals, from eating that animal? And there's more to it. It's more than just the pig. We're going to get to it. Continue on, mighty King Baba Kushar.
Come, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So the Lord is saying, any animal that are in the waters, you understand, that live in the seas, that live in the rivers, that live in the lake areas, man, any little portion of water that the Lord divides on the earth, that water animals, that water creatures live in, you understand? Read that from the top one more time, King Baba Kushar. Salakia.
No problem. Verse Leviticus chapter 11, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So the Lord is saying animals that have fins and scales. You understand? Those are the animals that are clean for you to eat. What animals have fins and scales? We could tell you. You understand? Salmon has fins and scales. Whitening bass has fins and scales. Fins and scales. Trout has fins and scales. You understand? The flounder has fins and scales. You understand? You know, and these are required good fish right here, man. You know, the whitening, man, fins and scales. Even the tuna has fins and scales. You know, it don't look like it until you actually grab one and you feel one and you can feel the riffles on the tuna fish. You understand? But what animals don't have fins and scales that our people are devouring down every chance that they get, man? You understand? The crab, the shrimp, the lobster, clams, mussels, octopus, catfish. You understand? Tilapia, shellfish. A lot of our people consume that, man. You understand? A lot of our people are consuming that. And what are these animals, man, that were just named just now? These animals were created by the Most High for one thing and one thing only, and that's to clean the water. That's to actually clean the water, man. And what is these people doing today? The people that are in power. You understand? They know what they're doing when they sit up here and they have these boats that sit up here, man, that has these humongous damn nets that sit up here and grab up thousands and millions of goddamn crab, shrimp, and lobster. You understand? And what do? They got it putting on, they putting it on your plate. Are people breaking the shells, man? And before they sit up there and eat it, they take a picture of it. You got Red Lobster commercials, tried the new shrimp basket special. You understand? Showing them sprinkle the lemon juice over it, and they put the butter sauce all over it, making it look good for our people to run down there and consume on that stuff, man. And what is it doing, man? Killing our people slowly, man. Affecting our people's bodies slowly, man. And they also giving parasites, giving worms, giving high blood pressure. You understand? I heard about shellfish, how shellfish is so disgusting, man, in the body that you consume in your body, man. Do you know what the shellfish does to the body of our people, man? Can make you forget memory, man. Makes you lose memory. You wake up one day, man, and your wife saying, "Hey, baby, how's everything? Good morning." And you looking at her like, "Who the hell is you?" You understand? Diarrhea, affections, man. You understand? These animals, man, are made to clean the water, man. You understand? They're bottom feeders for the water. The pig is the bottom feeder for the land. And that's like I said, this man in power, man. These nations, man, that are all over the earth, man, are are giving that to our people, man. Just tearing it up, man. Oh, what about catfish? Come on, man. You can't say about catfish. It's a fish. Yeah, it's a fish. It got fins, but it don't got scales. Shark got fins, but it doesn't have scales. You know what I'm saying? Our people don't even realize when you eating catfish, you actually not even eating meat. You're eating cartilage. Same with the shark, man. The body of the shark is mostly cartilage. That's like chewing on goddamn plastic, man. But society, man, is showing our people, man, nah, man. Yo, I tried rabbit the other day. Yo, it's good. Yo, I had snake, man, for the first time, and it tastes like chicken. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I went down there to goddamn Australia, and I ate alligator for the first time. But meanwhile, man, these are animals, man, that that can do a major damage to your body, man. So this is why the Most High made the dietary law, man. Dietary law of how we're supposed to eat, of what things we're supposed to be eating and what we're not supposed to be eating. And it's very, very important, man. Very, very important for our people to do. You know, got one more scripture came before I wind it down and whatnot. You know, I know brothers and sisters got things to do, tomorrow. I know brothers and sisters got work and everything. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to do the class at a beautiful, decent time and everything like that and whatnot, but just really wanted to touch on this tonight, man. My brother Ariel was like, can you do another class, man? And this was the first thing, man, that jumped on the spirit, man, that the Most High put on, man. Let's do it, let's do a video of teaching the laws and whatnot, man. Teaching the basics, and this, like I said, is edification, to the beautiful brothers and sisters of Israel, man, that are just learning this truth, man, to not even knowing the truth yet, man, but seeing these videos, man, that, the Most High strengthen up your spirit, man, to understand, and put your spirit to now want to understand and now want to get the Bible and read the Bible. And, this right here, man, helps orchestrate our people, man, to now putting on their fringes and coming back to these law, statutes, and commandments, man. And it's very, very important, man. Very important. And this is the love of the Most High, man. You do the Most High's commandments, man. That's the Most High's way of showing that you love him, man. You understand? That you truly love him at the end of the day. But those that are not keeping the laws and the commandments, man, you don't love the Most High. You understand? Let me get Deuteronomy, Cain. Let me get one more, two more, and then we're going to close it up. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. Because this is also, it is very deep with this homosexuality and lesbianism, man. Very, very deep at the end of the day. It's very deep, man, because the wickedness, man, that is put on the spirits of our people, man, to do the things, man, that is beyond wickedness, man. Truly beyond, truly beyond wickedness. Bring that out, King Bob Kushaw.
Khan, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones or have his private member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Salakia, King, you could read that one more time, man. It's his privy member.
Khan. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
And that's plain. And what that privy member is talking about, you understand? This is talking about to you brothers, man, that's in homosexuality. You understand? You got brothers, man, that are so deep in homosexuality, man, of doing anything to be a woman. When you're a man and whatnot, man, to be a woman, man, that you have this, you have this system, man, that has, that has certain structures in the hospitals, man, where, you can go and get surgery done of getting your private part cut off at the end of the day. And what's sad, man, we got brothers that have that type of spirit on them that are doing that are truly doing that, man. You understand? And that's truly abomination towards the Most High, man. You understand? And you got brothers, man, that seriously, man, today look like a straight up woman, but they're actually a man. Now, from the eye of men and women, they don't notice, you understand? But the Most High notices that. And not even that, when the Most High created your body, there's one part of your body, man, there's one bone in your body that separates the man and the woman. And that is what is known as your pelvis bone. The pelvis bone is the main indicator of your bone in your body that separates to identify a man and a female. So you sit up here and you pass away and they look at you through the autopsy, they're going to know that, oh, damn, the hell was this man doing? This dude is a dude at the end of the day. But you look straight up and down like a goddamn man. A transformer. Went from a damn Autobot to a Decepticon. Not being mean about it, man, but this is what our people are doing today, man. You got sisters literally getting their breasts cut off to try to have a man's chest, man. And what's sad about it, man, is that these hospital companies and everything, man, they don't get accounted, man, for these things, man, that are being done. And there's laws, man, that literally attain this is all right for you to do, man. Truly shows us, man. Truly shows us, especially those that are in the truth. Truly shows us, man, that this damn place is against the Most High, man. And if you're against the Most High, you're against Yahweh. If you're against Yahweh, you are definitely against the children of Israel, man. You're definitely against the children of Israel. You understand? And this is why the people in power, so-called white man, these other nations, the white nation, man, this is why you got to get double for what you're doing. Keeping our people in sin, keeping them away from the laws and the commandments, man. And even as much as you're doing, trillions and trillions of dollars that you're spending, billions of dollars that you're spending of thinking you're keeping this away from our people, man. Look what the Lord is doing, man. Our people are out on the highways and byways everywhere, man. You understand? From Chicago to New York to LA to Boston now, Texas, DMV, Philly, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Detroit. The list goes on and on, man. Las Vegas. We everywhere now. And this man is petrified, man. That's why he calls us terrorists, man. That's why he calls us straight up terrorists, man. You understand? Terrorists because we now woke up to our inheritance. Terrorists because now we coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Terrorists because now we are walking in the walk of these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's what scares and terrifies the hell out of this man and his nation and in these other nations, man. That's what scares the so-called white man, man, that's in power. And the people we talking about in power, man, are your Rothschilds, your Rockefellers, man, your DuPonts, your Eisenheimers, you understand, your Wahlbergs, you know, your Bilderbergs, you know, these families that, you know, are secret to the 2/3 of our people, but they're not secret to the men of the Lord that are woken up, man. You know, two more precepts came. Let me get Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 22. You know, this is going for you sisters that want to be a butch, you know, that want to be, you know, this is for you transgenders, man. You know, we just, you know, the Lord just spoken in Deuteronomy 23:1. You know, this is for you drag queens at the end of the day. These are for your Dionne Wardricks and whatnot. You know, this is for your, you know, this is for, you know, these lesos, you know, that want to be men today. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to be the most special and the most beautiful people on the earth, man. You know, you want to be the ways of society, man, because society wants you to do that. And they get a up, man. They get a laugh, man. They go bonkers, man, when they see our people, man, sit up here, man, and custom to their wickedness, man. You understand? Bring that out, Mighty King Bible Kashar.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 22.
Salakia.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22.
King. It's all good, King. It's all good.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination.
It is an abomination. Mankind, man laying with man, womankind, woman laying with women. This is not the ways that the Most High made us to be, man. And these are not laws and commandments that the Most High said, okay, you can do that. If I made you a man, that's what you're supposed to be. I made you a woman, that's what you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to sit up here and try to change my truth into a lie, man. You know? So, you know, this is very important, man. These laws and these commandments are very important, man. Us following the laws and the commandments, man, you know, is you know, the Most High rejoices, man. The angels are rejoicing. Yahushua is rejoicing. You understand? You know, it's a beautiful pleasure, man. And I will never stop saying it, man. This is the best time and beautiful time to know that you're an Israelite, man. You know, knowing that you're an Israelite. You can give me King, you can give me Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7, King.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2, verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
So not for nothing, man, the men of the Lord that are out here on the highways and byways, man, from our beautiful elders down to our beautiful captains, to the beautiful officers of our brothers, man, that are out here on these highways and byways, man, this is all you're going to get from us. You're going to get the laws out of our mouths. You understand? What laws are the pastors giving to us in them churches, man? That's why our sisters are still wearing pants in there. You know, that's why you got homosexuality and lesbianism still going on in the churches. Are people still walking in there? Because you can come as you are. But we, on the other hand, man, we cut it at the root, man. Not giving nothing a chance to grow. We got to let you know your transgressions of what you're going off on. We got to let you know where you're going off on, brothers and sisters. And to our brothers and sisters, man, that feel hated off of that, man, you know, that is living that lifestyle, that you're hating off of that, man, and hating towards us. All we doing is telling you the truth, King. All we doing is telling you the truth, princess. That's all that we telling you at the end of the day, man. And we telling you in it, we making these videos, we out here on these highways and byways to let our people know that because we love you, man. We really love y'all. We love y'all at the end of the day, man. Y'all part of the most beautiful nation on the earth. You're part of the beautiful, you're on the most important list ever, man. You're on the 12 tribes chart list, man. You're on the most important list ever. Last precept, Cain, let's get that. Let's get the beautiful and mighty classic. Let's get St. John's chapter 14 and Salakia, 1 John's chapter 5 and verse 3.
The book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
His commandments are not grievous. His commandments are not hard to do. You know, it's not hard to let go of the gangbanging life. It's not hard to let go of the lust that sisters have towards men, men have towards women of our people. You know, it's not hard to let go of these unclean foods. It's not hard to sit up here and follow feast days. It's not hard to let go of Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's and the 4th of July and all these pagan holidays. It's not hard to train your children up in this truth right here. It's not hard to put on your Frenches. It's not hard to let go of the weed and cigarettes, man. It's not hard to do any of that. It's not hard to sit up here and hearken back to the voice of the Lord. And that's his words of the law, statutes, and commandments written by the prophets whom he chosen to sit up here and write his words that we are reading today. You understand? So with that, man, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Mamalak Yahweh Shai. Want to give double honors to my beautiful elders, man, you know, that through the Most High, man, has opened up the door for us, man, through their beautiful edification, man, through their elders as well. You know, I want to give a beautiful, you know, beautiful honor and glory to the Most High, you know, for the mighty brothers and sisters that are in this truth. You understand? Consistently, diligently, and sincere, man, 10 toes down for the Most High and Yahweh Shai, you know, for these laws and these commandments, for the faith in Yahweh Shai that he redeem us out of this captivity, you understand, from under the Most High's laws and his commandments, for us containing and keeping these laws and these commandments. You understand? I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High that he continues this wicked kingdom of Esau to crumble, to all these other nations as well. I want to give a beautiful, you know, praises, honor, and glory to the Most High for the beautiful sisters and brothers, man, new to the truth, that are, you know, getting their feet wet, man, of, you know, starting to understand this truth, man, and, you know, get deeper and deeper in the water, man, to swim in this truth and this knowledge and this understanding. You know, I really hope I did some beautiful edification tonight, you know, to our people, you know, that's actually, you know, listening and, you know, watching these videos and whatnot. You know, this is all for the children of Israel. And with that, I want to say, and our beautiful language, which is the Paleo Hebrew tongue of Arise Israel, Kwam Yasharah,
Kwam
Shalom.
Yasharala. Shalom.
Shalom. All
Beautiful
praises to the
lesson,
mighty
Doc.
brother
Beautiful
tonight,
lesson.
man. Beautiful reading for me, man. All praises, mighty King.
All praise to the Most High.
All praises, King. Thank you,
God.
man. To brother Captain, if you on right now, Captain, man, if you here right now, you could give us out with the beautiful prayer and whatnot, and get ready for another beautiful and productive day tomorrow, man. Tomorrow sundown, is the beginning of the Shabbat. We just finished, we just had the 6th month of the new moon. All praises to the Most High, man. Continue to keep pushing, and just keep doing this work. Like my beautiful captain says in his words, man, it's not about how you start, but it's about how you finish. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem, Mashiach, Malak,
God.
Yahweh.
Khan, Shalom. All praise to the Most High. So I'm gonna lead us out with prayer.
God, King.
God, so Israel, I want to allow y'all get an opportunity to get some oil in your head and face the east.
God.
So this right here is the Shema prayer in the Paleo Hebrew. Pay after me. Shema Yasharallah Yahweh Allah Haynawa Yahweh and this right here is the Lord's Prayer in the Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kadash Haya Shemka Yahweh Malakwaka Daba'a Ratazayaka Haya Aisha Baratasa Kawa Bishop Yam Latanawa Lakam Ko Yawam Wasaluk Nawa Kabwafi Nawa Kasaluk Kabwafi Nawa Wala Debi Nawa Abob Bayasai 1 Abob Habishina Ma'im Rai Kaya Laka Hamalakwa Wama Allah Watabaraf Lam Yum Yum Amen. God, all praise unto the Most High.
God, all praises, all praises.
God.
The water mighty came for that, man. Beautiful time, man. Beautiful time. Thank you again for the class, man. Want to sit here, man. Give a heads up, man. I'll be letting the captain know again, man, when I'll be wanting to do another class and whatnot, man. Want to get Boston out here, man, on the rise with HOI, and continue to keep doing this work, man. To all of Israel, man, to all of HOI, man, through all over the 4 corners of the earth, man. Love each and every one of you, mighty brothers and sisters, man, children as well. And we'll be doing this again. Kwam Yasharala, Shalom, Kings.
Kwam
Shalom.
Yasharala. Shalom.
Shalom.
House of Israel. HOI till chariots